Well, I wanted to make this video and just sort of show sometimes the struggle. I kind of like I get there in the end, but some days it's just like you kind of get stuck in a rut. You're good with one thing, but not so good with the other. And one of the issues that I have is that my inking has got better in digital, and I think I'm pretty much there with the actual inking. It looks very similar to my inking on paper. It's not quite the same. It doesn't quite have the nuances, but it's good enough. It's close enough. But my colouring, oh my god, do I struggle with shading on a computer, or at least in Procreate anyway. So this is kind of like me trying to remember how I did it back in the day, because I haven't been on Procreate for a while, and like as you can see, I'm not getting it. It's just iteration after iteration. Also, the other thing that I'm trying to do here is just figure out what this painting is actually going to be. I haven't gone in with a predetermined idea of what it's going to look like at the end. I'm just trying to enjoy the experience of painting, drawing on the iPad, which initially I found frustrating because I forgot all the controls and bits and pieces, and I couldn't get my head quite right. Here I start figuring it out, figuring out how to adjust the layers and how to use multiply and screen, and how I used it in my drawing process, because it really has been a while since digital. I mean, one of the things that I like to do is I've slowly been experimenting with, rather, is that I like to do it digitally in the computer, or get it all my lines fixed up and then print it out on the printer in black and white, and then just wash it with gouache or watercolors is my favorite. I'm kind of very influenced by Greg Torcini, how he does his coloring. I think this is how he does the coloring anyway. Like this glimpse of it. You just get the line art right first, and once it's scanned, either I do it on paper and scan it into the computer, or I do a pencil sketch or a rough sketch, and I just use the iPad to take a picture and bring it into Procreate and do it that way, and then print it a couple of versions out, and then I can experiment with the color, how I want it to look like, and then I've got a few bits and pieces like that. But here I'm just sort of dicking around. I'm getting a better idea of what I want to do. I'm struggling with hair at the moment as well. Like I really need to work on cartoon hair. But eventually I kind of feel like I'm getting there. I'm eventually finding the form that I want, and then I just got it in my head. But I like those old paintings where they would put do these beautiful paintings and then put gold leaf over the top of it. So I kind of imagined that this was kind of like one of those, Eastern Orthodox kind of pictures, that sort of thing. That's the thought behind it. But again, it's very free formness. I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing so much. I'm just like, it's almost like channeling, for want of a better word. It's just trying to find what the picture's saying to me as I'm doing it. And it's like here that I'm like, it's pretty obvious, like using the typefaces and some kind of goddess or something, or a transformation, and then it's just almost endless amount of dicking around to find out what sort of how I want to finish it. Like the yellow lines are not actually key lights, it's just sort of like energy buzzes. So like, how do I want her to pick that? Like she's phasing into something or getting really angry or whatever. I really like American Gods, so it's probably a bit of that that's coming out. I've been doing Smoking Eyeballs since I was a kid though. When I was really little, I did a picture of Belloc from Marvel Comics, and it's stuck with me. I really like that motif.